Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 975th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Just to say, as a lot of you will know, I rarely put a 3v3 battle on. Well, this is a 3v3 battle, and the reason I'm putting it on is because it's probably one of the best and closest 3v3 battles I have ever been in. And all six of us after this battle, win or lose, said what an absolute epic and classic battle this was. Okay, so as I say, very rare for me to put a 3v3 battle on. It has to be extremely special for me to do that. Okay, so this map has got slightly undulating ground, okay, but really and truthfully, the map is pretty flat. And that's unusual for our battles. A lot of you that watch our battles will know it's unusual for us to fight on a pretty flat map. As I say, there's a little bit of undulating ground, but it mostly is, for, you know, by and large, a flat map. Okay. Our first teammate here is Brotherhood member Arminius. Okay, now Arminius has got 10 Spartans, 6 armoured hoplites and 4 archers. Okay, so a reasonably diverse Greek cities army there. Okay, those of you that might not have seen armoured hoplites and Spartans before, there's a comparison there. Now remember that the Spartans have got 2 hit points, excellent specifications, and the armoured hoplites are pretty good troops, good solid troops. Obviously they're not as good as Spartans, but they have got spears there, so you know they're going to be anti-cavalry. Okay, and they say he's got 6 units of them. Of those there, and he has got the elite long-range Cretan archers as well. Okay, so he's got the 4 elite long-range Cretan archers there, and I think that's a pretty interesting Greek cities army there of Arminius. Be interesting to see how well he does with it during the course of the battle. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Fesen with his faction of choice, Carthage. Now he's got 15 Sacred Band spearmen and 5 slingers. Now if you notice here, you'll see, I believe that most of his, if not all of his Sacred Band spearmen had 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So very well upgraded Sacred Band troops. We've seen Fesen use this army, I think, before, but this is unusual. He's got 5 of the cheap, very medium range slingers. Okay, not the Balearic slingers. Remember, the Balearic slingers have got quite a good range. Those guys have got just really medium range, really. So it'll be interesting to see how he uses that army. Notice no cavalry. Okay, we know that Fesen, when he brings his Carthage army, he never brings any cavalry because he prefers to use his spearmen. Our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander. Now I've got 13 Spartans and 4 of the cheap, you see that, cheap medium range archers. Okay, now because I've got the medium range archers, if you use them properly, they can be quite effective. Okay, but the reason I bought the cheap archers is because I wanted to explain something here, and that is, you know that Spartans do really good with gold shield, gold attack. Okay, we know that. But what I've done with this old army is I've compromised on maybe the gold defense. I might have made a few of the units there only have silver defense, and some of their attack might be silver instead of gold. Now the reason I've done that is to free up some more money for me so that I can put experience stripes on my Spartans. Okay, so just to let you know that most of my Spartans have got a veteran stripe on them. Now you put a veteran stripe on a Spartan unit, and you'd be really surprised on how well that Spartan unit can fight. Okay, now the only reason I'm telling you this is because later on in the battle, okay, the veteran stripes on these Spartans could really make a difference. Okay, that's the only reason I'm telling you that. So I've compromised on the gold shield, gold attack on most of the units here to free up money so I can put a veteran stripe on most of my Spartans. Okay, so I'm just giving you a heads up on that. And as I say, the only reason I'm telling you that is because later on in the battle, that might prove quite important. Okay, so as I say, not gold shield, gold attack. I've compromised there, so they've got an experience stripe. So there you are, we've got Greek cities, Carthage, and Greek cities here. It should be a cracking game for you to watch. And here is the other team. We have brother member Sultan Adnan. Now he's got 7 archers, 7 infantry, and 6 cavalry. Okay, so this is what I see a lot of Roman players bring in there. So there's his infantry there. Now they've only got gold shield, gold attack on. So he's only got 7 infantry with just gold shield, gold attack on. So that tells me, oh my gosh, check out his cavalry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry. 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. That takes them out of the elite cavalry bracket into the super cavalry bracket. Just make sure they are all fully upgraded. Yeah. 9 upgrades, 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Yeah, so you've got fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry there. As I say, lifts them out of the elite bracket into the super cavalry bracket. Okay, there. So, but the only question that I would ask about this is 7 infantry enough for the modern day battlefield? Okay, now will the fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry make up for just 7 infantry? Well, I guess we'll just have to see as the battle unfolds, and it'll be interesting to see how well he uses his archers as well. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member JGP. Now JGP's got 12 infantry, 4 archers and 4 cavalry. Okay, here you can see his battle formation there. That's an unusual battle formation. Check out the upgrades on his cavalry. Right, okay, 5 upgrades. So he's got mixed upgrades on his cavalry, but you know, not that great upgrades really. But check out the upgrades on his archers. Look at that. Now these are already elite archers, and he's put 8 upgrades on them. 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So make no mistake, these archers are serious archers. As I say, they're elite archers anyway, but putting those upgrades on, that really makes them serious archers there. As I say, unusual battle formation there as well. Okay, their last teammate is Brotherhood member Mars. Now Mars has got 7 Silver Shield Legionnaires, 7 Silver Shield Pikemen, 5 cavalry and 1 horse missile troop there. Okay, so there you can see that his Silver Shield Legionnaires at the front of his battle formation have just got gold shield, gold attack on. Now these guys can throw pilers and actually are pretty solid infantry. Obviously they're not as good as urban cohorts, but they are pretty solid infantry even with gold shield, gold attack on. And then we move back here, have a look at his pikes, and I see the pikes just behind those forward elements have just got 7 upgrades on and experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, so you can see that there, and then as we move further back, if I remember correctly, I think those pikes there, yeah, have got 8 upgrades on there, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So the rear line of his battle formation of pikes have got 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. I don't think his cavalry was too upgraded. No, there you are. His Seleucid cataphracts, the tanks of the ancient world, have just got gold shield, gold attack on there. Okay, so he's spent his money on his pikes rather than his cavalry, and there is a horse missile unit there. Can you see they throw those spears, fast moving, get around the battlefield really quickly and throw spears into the rear and flank of enemy troops. Okay, so there is the enemy team. You've got 2 Roman armies and Seleucid. Okay, as I say, this is one of the closest and best 3v3s I have been in. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at some battle formations here. And can you see how Arminius has got a very, very wide battle formation there? He's got his armoured hoplites there to protect his archers. But newer players to Rome Total War, I would say they are. Let's see, that's what he's got his hoplites there for, to protect against enemy cavalry attacking his archers. But as I say, newer players to Rome Total War, this is the way I see a lot of pike, modern pike and spear generals use these pike and spear factions now. Can you see very, very wide battle formations there? And as I say, this is like the modern new way of using pike and spear factions, and I would suggest that newer players to Rome Total War look at that, because it seems to be very effective and very efficient. Okay, our next teammate, Brotherhood member Fesen. Now if you notice there is battle formation there, this is a tried and tested battle formation. If he gets hit at the front, he's double banked. Can you see he's got a double bank of sacred band spearmen there to protect a head-on attack. If the enemy go around his flank, he's got a unit there to cover any flank attack. And if the enemy go around behind his battle formation, these 4 units there, if they get behind that, those 4 units there can just about turn and neutralize a threat coming in from behind. So as I say, that's a tried and tested Fesen battle formation there. Okay, and you can see he's got his slingers out the front. Now I'm going to take you back to 2006. All right, so here you've got an old school, really old-fashioned, what we call block formation that I was using maybe 2005, 2006 when I was using Spartans a lot. Okay, as I say, old school, old-fashioned block formation there. Nothing sophisticated. We know that battle formations and army builds have all evolved over the years, but that's exactly the same formation I was using back in 2005, 2006. Will it still be effective in 2025? Well, I guess we'll just have to see. But you know me, I like to bring a lot of old school, old-fashioned stuff back onto the modern day battlefield, and there's my 4 very cheap mid-range archers there. So there's our team. It should be a cracking battle for you to watch. Okay, at this stage we're going to have a cavalry count because this could be extremely relevant later on in the battle. So there you can see Sultan has got 6 cavalry there. Okay, 4 and 5, 6. Okay, as I say, this could be extremely relevant later on in the battle. So that's 6 cavalry so far, and then you've got 4 of JGP, so that's 10. Okay, so that's 10 cavalry so far for the enemy. And then 5 more there, 15. So the enemy have got 15 cavalry. Okay, and make no mistake, 15 elite cavalry there. Okay, now let's have a look at the cavalry in our team. So, Arminius, no cavalry. Okay, let's have a look at Fesen. Let's have a look at Fesen's no cavalry. And let's have a look at my no cavalry. Okay, so they've got 15 cavalry, we have got no cavalry at all. Yes, we've got anti-cavalry spear factions here, but if they use that 15 cavalry advantage well, that could be battle-winning troops we're talking about there. Just have to wait and see. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle, we've literally just pressed start. Okay, I'm not kidding you, literally pressed start here. Can you see that Fesen is taking his short-range archers across the battlefield here to get in range of the enemy archers there? Okay, so as those slingers are running across the battlefield, they're going to get picked off by the elite enemy archers, but also can you see how exposed they are to a possible cavalry attack there? Can you see that with us having no cavalry, we can't support units that we throw forward there, and I think that those slingers may well have a short life on this battle. Right, can you see, now just show you, these are the cheap short-range archers, not the Balearic slingers there, sorry, but can you see how close they have to get in range of enemy troops? Do you see how close he's had to run them? Look how close they are to the SBQR archers there. That's how short range those slingers are. Now we know that Balearic slingers will have a lot longer range than those, but that's how close they are. And here we are, Sultan's cavalry, look, going to smash into those slingers there, as you can see. And there you go, you can see that he's going to smash into them there, and there you go, and bang as he smashes in there, and bang as he smashes in there with his fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry there. As I say, I don't think the slingers are going to last very long here. You can see now Fesen moving his Carthage spearmen forward there, but unfortunately it's too late. You can see JGP's purple SBQR cavalry finishing them off. Now finishing those slingers off, and JGP and Sultan are probably saying, well, thanks very much for those kills, and they'll just back their cavalry off there. Right, pause the game for a second here. Okay, so you can see, unfortunately there for poor old Fesen, he lost all his slingers at the very, very early stage of the battle. As I say, literally we've just pressed start and we're just forming up here. Okay, so you can see us moving over. And just to let you know, I forgot to mention this, that when we were setting up our armies, I suggested to Fesen and Arminius we go Carthage and Greek cities, just for a bit of a laugh, like, you know, for a bit of fun. So that's why you will see us see that we're Carthage and Greek cities here. It was just for a bit of a laugh, really. That bit of a laugh turned into an absolute epic battle. Okay, so here you'll see that Sultan is tactically moving his archers around the battlefield. Okay, the enemy know we've got no cavalry, so that's going to give them a lot of freedom to move their units around the battlefield as they like. I mean, the 15 cavalry advantage that they've got, I mean, as I say, this could be telling towards the end of the battle, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. But there you are. You can see, as I say, Sultan moving his archers around tactically there, looking for different angles probably to shoot into us. And there you are. You can see a couple of Fesen slinger units have rallied, so that's good news for us. And remember, the only elite archers we got are the Cretan archers that Arminius has bought. Remember, the 4 archers I've got are the cheap mid-range archers there. But as I say, it's just watch out for the way that Sultan moves his archers very tactically around the battlefield to start picking our units off from the rear and the flank. Okay, and also in this battle, I think we do go quite defensive, as you will see later on. Okay, at this still early stage of the battle here, you'll see that JGP has moved his elite long-range archers forward. Remember, JGP's archers had 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack, and he will be targeting our archers there with his elite archers. But of course, as I say, look, once again we've got no cavalry, so they can come in with lightning hits with their cavalry, take our archers out or slingers out there. And as I say, nice tactical positioning by Sultan here with his archers. Okay, make no mistake here, he's looking to shoot his arrows into the flank or rear of our units. Just pause the game for a second here. He's even got archers in behind us here, look. Taking full advantage of, basically we've just got no cavalry. So as I say, with no cavalry, and you can see we've actually gone defensive now, so we've also handed the initiative to the enemy team as well. Remember, when you go defensive, all you can do is react really to the enemy team, and as I say, you hand the initiative to them there. But that's what we've done there. We've gone defensive, and as I say, the enemy team will make the most of that. You can see Arminius there has got his armored hoplites in a long formation there, if you like. You can see I've put my cheap mid-range archers out there. So what I'm trying to do with my cheap mid-range archers, obviously I'm trying to cause casualties to their archers, but what I'm trying to do is to encourage their expensive archers with their expensive arrows to shoot those arrows into my cheap archers. Okay, so that's why I've put my archers there. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, as I say, with my really cheap mid-range archers here, don't forget these are elite archers here, and what I want them to do is to shoot their elite expensive arrows into my cheap mid-range archers and into the slingers, those cheap slingers of Fesens as well, so that then our elite Cretan archers that Arminius has bought, won't suffer that many casualties, as our cheap archers are soaking up the expensive enemy arrows there, if you see what I mean. So that's why I've got those archers there, but you can see how defensive we've gone there. And as I say, you can see Sultan here. Now make no mistake, he'll be targeting probably the flank of one of my units there. There you are, I can see the arrows coming in on the flank. Remember, the flank and rear of any unit on RTW is its weakest point. So if those archers start targeting the flank or rear of any of our units, they will cause a lot of casualties there. And poor old Fesen, I can see he's already suffering a lot of casualties there from the arrows of the enemy team. So remember that all their archers are really elite archers, and they put a lot of upgrades on them as well, so they can cause us a lot of casualty. I mean, literally we could be shot to pieces almost before we get into battle, really. And as I say, here, over here, you can see the enemy cavalry attacking those armored hoplites that Arminius put out there to protect his archers. They're going to go for his elite Cretan archers there. Let's just pause the game for a second there. So as I say here, the enemy cavalry here attacking Arminius's elite Cretan archers there as well. And over here, I mean, he did put those armored hoplites out to try and protect those archers, but the problem is that obviously cavalry being fast moving, a lot more fast moving than infantry there, that the cavalry can smash into his Cretan archers before his armored hoplites can get there. And he needs to be careful now, because those armored hoplites look exposed to me. Do they look a little bit isolated to you as well? It looks like the enemy cavalry could take out not just the archers, but those armoured hoplites as well. There you are, you can see Sultan's cavalry unit coming back in. So I'm not sure what Arminius is going to do with these armoured hoplite units, but there's a lot of enemy cavalry coming in on them there, and that Seleucid cataphracts look a bang as it smashes in there. But these three units here look greatly exposed to enemy cavalry hits there. Remember, as I said at the beginning of the battle, the enemy have got 15 elite cavalry units, and we've got none. So that's the massive advantage that they've got. And these armoured hoplites here, as I say, very isolated, very exposed to big cavalry hits here. He needs to run them back if he can to our main armies. Just try and save them if he can there. But with all that enemy cavalry dotting around there, he'd be lucky to get one unit back, I think. This one unit here, look, is running to try and get back to its allies. He's trying to run another unit forward, look, and bang! As those cataphracts smash into it there. So, as I say, he needs to try and get these units back to the main armies there if he can. I think that's all the. I'm not sure if that's all the archers I've got left there, but you can see my archers have been pretty decimated there by the elite enemy archers. So there, as you can see, we have really gone defensive here. Oh, there you are. I've still got some archers left that I'm targeting the elite archers there of the enemy team, but. As I say there, you can see we've really gone defensive there. Look at the Spartans that I lost from that one unit there, okay, from enemy archer fire coming in on me, coming in on the flank of my units. So as I say, you know, make no mistake, we are going to suffer a lot of casualties from archers before we even get into hand-to-hand fighting. And as I say, we've gone defensive here, so we've handed the initiative to the enemy so they can move units around the battlefield as they want, and all we can do is try and respond to any enemy movement there. But as I say, make no mistake, those elite enemy archers there are shooting into us. They will be causing us a lot of casualties there. There you can see Arminius there has still got one of his Cretan archers there trying to target the enemy archers. You can see Mars moving his cavalry round. He's kind of loitering with intent with those Seleucid cataphracts there. And as I say, you can see Sultan's very tactical, strategic movement of his archers around the battlefield there, targeting the rear and flank of our units. Okay, so nice, as I say, nice tactical movement. And you can see that actually we are now surrounded by enemy troops. Okay, you can see completely surrounded there by enemy troops there, making the most of the archer advantage that they've got. Now we know that Mars can be very aggressive when he wants to be, and I can see him moving his Seleucid troops forward. You can see JGP just slowly moving his archers around the battlefield, looking for good tactical positions to put his archers to cause us the most casualties there. And as I say, because we've gone defensive, look, and handed the initiative to the enemy, look how slowly the enemy are moving around. They know we've got no cavalry either, so we've got no cavalry, we've gone defensive there. And as I say, the initiative is completely with the enemy here, and all we can do is kind of try and hold on. But there you can see the Seleucid troops of Mars moving forward towards Fesen's Carthage sacred band troops there. And if you notice there, Fesen had his troops in open order to try and avoid less damage from archer fire, and he's just put them back into close order. And now Fesen's going to be very aggressive here and attack the Seleucid units. I think, to be honest with you, the only chance we've got is to be really aggressive. I don't know what you guys are thinking there, but that's all I'm thinking there. And you can see here, as I say, the archers there. Look at, as I say, Sultan very tactically, very strategically moved his 7 archers around the battlefield there, just to target us. I can't believe I've still got one of my cheap archers there still trying to target some of the elite archers of Sultan there. But I think poor old Fesen there would have suffered a lot of casualties from archer fire. Remember that Arminius and my Spartans have got 2 hit points, so we suffer less damage from missiles. But the poor old Carthaginians there, they could be damaged quite a lot. And as I say here, Sultan would have made sure that he moved his archers in a very tactical and a strategic way to hit the weakest part of our units there. So make no mistake, as I say, poor old Fesen probably suffered a lot of damage. As I say, you can see Fesen there being very aggressive with his Carthaginians. Whether he's going to keep pressing ahead with that type of attack, or whether he's going to kind of pull back closer to Arminius and myself. Oh, there you are. Look, he's now pulling back closer to Arminius and myself there. Okay, but you can see here, I mean, you know, we've really gone really defensive here, haven't you? I mean, we're just kind of just in a tight defensive group there, and the enemy troops are just wandering around just thinking, oh, we'll hit them here with some archers, or we might bang in some cavalry there, smash into the flank or rear of our troops. So you can see here that the enemy now are moving towards us. There you can see the Seleucids, as I say, Mars being quite aggressive with his Seleucid troops there. Okay, so just going to pause the game for a second and give you a heads up on what I'm thinking here. Okay, if JGP gets any closer with his SBQ army, I'm going to attack him. Because for me, the only chance our team has got is to be aggressive and attack. If we just stand around here, like I say, giving the initiative to the enemy all the way through the battle, we're just going to be shot to pieces by archers, and their cavalry are going to smash into us in vulnerable places, and you know, the battle will be over quite quickly if we go too defensive. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to turn defense into attack. Just watch JGP's infantry. If he moves closely, I'm going to hit him as hard as I can with my Spartans, okay? So just watch JGP's SBQ infantry. I'm just waiting for a chance. I remember I said to Fesen and Arminius, we need to attack at the first opportunity. As I say, these archers here just causing us so many casualties. Right, can you see JGP's moving his SBQR infantry forward? Okay, right, pause again for a second. So you can see he's moving forward there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come out of defense, I'm going to hit him. Now, probably what he'll do, he'll probably retreat his troops, okay? We just have to wait and see here. But the moment that my Spartans hit his forward units, I think he'll back his troops off, but we'll just see here. You can see him moving more of his SBQR infantry forward there. So we're actually getting into an engaged situation. Right, now here you are, you can see my Spartans now. I'm now going to attack JGP's SBQR units there. There you are, you can see me surging forward there, and bang, as my Spartans hit. Okay, so I charged forward with my spears up so I could run, and I'm now going to put my spears down to actually engage those SBQR troops. Okay, so there you are, I'm pushing forward, but as I say, it wouldn't surprise me if JGP backed his infantry off. Okay, we'll just have to see if that's what he's going to do, because he won't want to take Spartans on head on if he can possibly help it. But look at all these enemy troops here just waiting to come in on us from different directions. And as I say, with 15 cavalry advantage over our, you know, having no cavalry, that can be a big advantage. And there are archers shooting into us, causing us casualties all the time here. But as I say, JGP, there you are, you can see JGP is backing some of his infantry off. He just charged some cavalry into my advancing Spartans there. So very aggressive move there by JGP. But as I say, you can see me moving my Spartans now. I'm engaging those SBQR units that he left, but he did pull back a lot of his units. Now if Mars stays there with his Seleucid units there, I shall help my allies in attacking them as well. As I say, for me, the only lifeline that we could have is to attack, be aggressive. If we stand around here, we're just going to suffer casualties for no reason. But there you are, you can see my Spartans now advancing into Mars's Seleucid troops there. Okay, you can see, as I said, JGP's pulled his SBQR infantry back there. And as I say, you can see Fesen moving his infantry forward as well. So we're both supporting each other here, moving into the Seleucids there. Okay, now I'm aware that the SBQR troops of JGP are looking to come round behind my attacking troops. Okay, pause the game for a second here. You can see here Sultan's infantry wanting to get close to throw their pillars in. He got his cavalry here ready to charge in when he's ready. I can see the Seleucid cataphracts in wedge formation there, so make no mistake, they're looking to smash in. Looks like they're going to hit Fesen's Carthaginians there. Maybe a hammer and anvil attack there. So as I say, you can see the enemy troops gradually closing in on us like a slow vice. But as I say, my Spartans there are fighting into the Seleucids, but I am aware of those SBQR troops of JGP getting in behind me, so I need to be aware to change some of my units' direction of attack to be able to defend the rear of my units when those SBQR units hit. Okay? But that's what I'm watching out for. Oh my gosh, I can see on the other flank the SBQR cavalry has just smashed into... Let's just pause the game for a second there. So on the other flank, you can see, as we thought, Mars's cataphracts there were in wedge formation, smashing into in there. Maybe a hammer and anvil attack. Mars's infantry being the anvil, and of course his cataphracts being the hammer there. That's what I think he was trying to do there, and he could cause a lot of casualties to Fesen's Carthaginians there. That was a very aggressive hit there by Mars. Now you can see Arminius moving his infantry forward to cover the rear of my infantry. Now during the course of this battle, you'll see that Arminius covers the rear of my infantry, of my Spartans, and that will enable me to keep attacking forward. Okay, this is a great bit of support here by Arminius. Okay, as I say, as the battle progresses, you watch how he covers the rear of my Spartans there. That was a great move there, and now JGP's moving his infantry back. He was looking to smash it to the rear of my engaged infantry, but he's now pulling back. I'd actually turned the unit to meet that attack, as I was expecting some SBQR units to come in. But here can you see that both Fesen and myself are advancing into the Seleucid general unit there. But over here, look, you can see those cataphracts really smashing into Fesen's Carthaginian units there. But remember that those units have got 2 veteran stripes on, so that's going to keep them fighting longer there. There as well. I think that's a Seleucid general. I think that was a Seleucid general just been taken out, I think, there. But anyway, you can see the enemy troops still closing in on Fesen's spearmen there, and all this cavalry just ready to charge inlet from different angles to smash into Fesen's Carthaginians there. But as I say, I'm going to change trajectory of my attack now and move over here to try and help Fesen. Okay, if we can get hit by cavalry, I should be expecting that. I should keep an eye on the enemy cavalry as well. But the trajectory of my attack has now changed, and I am now moving it over to try and help Fesen on that other flank there. Because make no mistake, they are targeting our Carthage ally there with their cavalry and infantry. Right, pause again for a second here. So there you are, the Seleucid general, as we saw earlier, has been killed and routed, so that takes away the morale bonus that they were getting from him. As I say, you can see here moving my troops now over to help Fesen, because make no mistake, the enemy are targeting his Carthaginians there with both infantry and cavalry. Okay, so as I say, you can see the trajectory of my Spartans now are now moving over to try and help Fesen. And as I say, Arminius doing a fantastic job of covering the rear of my advancing Spartans. Okay, so over here you can see that the Carthaginian general of Fesen is on his own. Okay, all his troops in the general unit has now been taken out. And something interesting here, you can see that effective against armor mace about to smash him in the head there. But just something interesting here, can you see how the dead of that unit, I mean, he needs to get that general over here to his allies if he can. But can you see how that Carthaginian dead there are laying in that? That's where they've been shot with archers. Okay, that is archer kills there. Over the years, you'll get to know what archer kills look like when big units are dead, like that. Okay, so the enemy obviously been targeting the Carthage general unit there. Notice there's no enemy dead around that Carthage unit. That's because they've all just been killed by archer fire, where I think the Sultan was concentrating his archers onto poor old Fesen's general unit there. And as you can see, killed them all. And I think, if I remember correctly, that general holds on. Look, he's been hit, smashed by cataphracts there. I think there's Julii troops still there, and look, he's still fighting. Look, that Carthage general is still fighting, even against all those enemy troops there. He's still managing to hold on against the effective against armor maces there, and the enemy Julii troops. He's still fighting somewhere there. He's still, oh my gosh, they finally got him in the end. I thought he held on really well there myself. Okay, so anyway, that's the Carthage general has just been taken out. Right, so here you can see I've moved my Spartans over from the other flank there to help Fesen, and I am now fighting Julii infantry there, and you can see that Fesen is there as well. So we're both fighting Julii infantry there, and as I say, Arminius there holding our rear against a possible SPQR attack there. So, and you can see all this cavalry here lined up. You can see Sultan's cavalry lined up as well. Now they may well be looking to smash into my Spartans here, okay, because you can see my Spartans are engaged. I need to be aware of all that cavalry, okay, but remember what we looked at earlier, most of my Spartans have got a veteran stripe on them. Okay, now that could prove very relevant. I'd just like you to remember that. I've compromised with a bit of gold shield, gold attack to put a veteran stripe on most of my infantry. Now I've got infantry facing that Julii infantry coming in on me one direction. I've got Seleucid and Julii infantry coming in on another. But I'm just thinking here they may well be looking to smash into me with cavalry. Okay, but as I say, please remember that most of my Spartans have got a veteran experience stripe on them, okay? So there you are, you can see I'm fighting into that Julii infantry. I'm going to turn units, as I say, to face that Julii infantry coming in behind me, but just watch out for any big enemy cavalry hits on my engaged Spartans there. Okay, you can see I've got Julii infantry coming in behind me. You can see Arminius has brought some reinforcements over. You can see Fesen helping as well. Right, uh-oh, here comes the cavalry. Get ready for this fully upgraded Julii cavalry. And bang! As they smash into my Spartans there. Now, if my Spartans were just gold shield, gold attack, that might have been enough to rout them. But because they got a veteran stripe on, look, they're holding there. That Seleucid cataphract smashed in there as well. Look, bang! As they charged in there. Oh my gosh. Let's just pause the game for a second there. So look at my Spartans there. Remember, as I say, most of them got a veteran experience stripe on. And look at the maximum upgraded dead Julii cavalry there that smashed into my units. As I say, if my units were just gold shield, gold attack, they may well have routed there with that massive cavalry hit. But that veteran stripe kind of kept them fighting there. Remember, those experienced veteran stripes are really, really important on RTW in any unit really, but on the Spartans they can be, it kind of really changes how well the Spartans fight. Right, okay, so sadly here, Arminius' general has just been taken out. Okay, so we've lost the Carthage general morale bonus, and we've lost Arminius' general morale bonus as well, and you can see a lot of Arminius' units are being routed here by a concerted attack by JGP's SPQR troops. Okay, so things really not looking that very good for us there. I can see that we've routed the Julii general though, so that's good news for us. There, the Julii general, I think we just actually might have just killed him. Right, so here at this stage of the battle, I've upped spears. Remember, you can only run with spear or pike units when you up your spears or pikes. Holding them up in the air, you can run them. So I've upped my spears now because I want to run over to the other flank and try and help Fesen there, engaging those SPQR troops there of JGPs. Okay, so I've upped spears. I'm now running across there to try and help, but oh my gosh, that unit of Fesen's just been smashed and crashed there. I can see other Carthage units have been smashed and crashed. Can you see that my Spartans are just reaching the scene there, but I got there too late? Okay, so I've ran over there with my spears. At the moment I come into contact with the enemy, I'll put my spears down there. But you can see JGP's backing his SPQR army away from my Spartans there, as we thought he might do. But you can see I'm still advancing into them. As I said to Arminius and Fesen, really for us to have a chance here, we need to be aggressive and attacking, and that's why I'm trying to lead the charge here with my Spartans all the way through the battle. And there you are, you can see there, I'm really getting engaged now with the enemy SPQR troops. Obviously, I'd like to take out the SPQR general if I could, but there you are, you can see there that he's put his troops into Testudo there, which is the standard Roman defense against pike and spear attack. As I say, Arminius here has got in behind me, look, watching the rear of my troops. He's watching my back and that enables my troops to keep pushing into the enemy troops. You see what I mean? So as long as my rear, my back is being watched, I can just, you know, I don't have to worry about my back. I can just keep pushing forward into the enemy troops there. So well done to Arminius there. at protecting the rear of my troops as I move forward. Okay, so I'm really advancing into the enemy SBQR troops there. But I can see poor old Fesen, the last of Fesen's units there, like, bang, as that cavalry smashes in there. Oh my gosh, you've got Seleucid cavalry, SBQR cavalry, and Julii cavalry there trying to, oh my god, I think that might be all of Fesen's army has now been taken out. Oh my gosh. So after a fierce fight there, I think Fesen's units held well. Oh no, he's got one unit left. Oh my gosh, one unit with one man. That is the entirety of Fesen's army there. And do you remember he had 15 well upgraded sacred band spearmen at the beginning of this battle, and that's the only soldier he's got left. Now will the enemy leave him alone, or will they try and kill him? We'll just have to wait and see. Are they going to be heartless, or are they going to leave him alone there? But as I say, you can see, as I say, right from the beginning of this battle, I wanted to be aggressive with my Spartans, and that's what I'm trying to be there. Right, okay, so we've routed the SBQR General, which is one of our aims there, so that's good. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, there you are, there's the SBQR General running. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we've taken out all the enemy generals. I think we have, so I don't think they've got any morale bonus left, general morale bonus left at all now. So that's good, and I think my general's still alive, so Arminius and myself are benefiting from the general morale bonus of my general there. So that's good for us. But as I say, you can see my Spartans moving forward, but you can see the enemy troops kind of getting into more advantageous positions. See Sultan's fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry. Look like he's gonna, you know, he's got his finger on the trigger like he wants to hit, doesn't he? Do you see what I mean? And you can see, as I say, my Spartans still moving forward into the enemy troops, trying to be very, very aggressive, as I said, right from the beginning of the battle there, and pushing into the enemy SBQR infantry. But if you look around the battlefield, you can still see they've got a lot of powerful cavalry left there, just waiting to hit. And as I say, if you watch Arminius here, his Spartans, you can see how well he covers, as we talked about earlier, the rear of my Spartans. So I haven't got to watch my back so much, because I can just keep, that just enables me to keep moving forward into the enemy troops. Okay, so it's a great bit of teamwork there. Okay, so there you are, there's my Spartans there moving in. And as I say, you can see this cavalry locked and loaded. I would love to charge into the rear of my engaged Spartans there. But you can see Arminius has spotted that and brought his Spartans across there to cover the rear of my units there, to stop that SBQR cavalry smashing into the rear of my units. As I say, great bit of teamwork there by Arminius. There, as you can see, a really good defensive formation there. The troops that the enemy have got won't really want to attack that formation. Who wants to attack Spartans head on? But as I say here, I'm really pushing into the enemy SBQR infantry there, charging in there. And we'll just have to see what they're going to do there. You can see he's got his troops, some of his troops in the studio there. You can see the archers there have just charged into the flank. Oh, there goes the cavalry, fully upgraded cavalry. Bang! As they smash into my Spartans there. Oh my gosh. Routed one of my Spartan units on impact. There, you can see those archers moving in on me as well. They've been alt-attacked in on my Spartans. You've got SBQR infantry in there that was attacking there. Oh my gosh, they're really trying to target my Spartans now. Can you see that? They move cavalry over that SBQR cavalry. Looks like it's going to attack there. You can see there, and that fully upgraded cavalry of Sultans there, the red Julii cavalry. Remember, that's fully upgraded. 3 experienced stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Once again, can you see Arminius covering the rear of my troops there, enabling me to keep pushing forward into the enemy troops there. But here comes, oh, it comes a massive cavalry attack, and bang, as it smashes in there. And the Julii cavalry coming in as well, bang, as that smashes into us as well. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, they're trying for shock tactics here, trying for mass routes with their cavalry hits. Okay, that's what they're trying to do. That's why they're charging another cavalry hit. Look, bang, as that smashes in there as well. Make no mistake, they're trying for shock tactics here with their cavalry to try and get a mass route going of our troops. Oh my gosh. Arminius has just lost 3 of his units there from the shock tactics of the enemy cavalry. Okay, remember the shock and charge bonus of all that cavalry going in there has caused those units to rout. So we've got reduced units there now. And oh my gosh, that was a massive hit there by the enemy cavalry. So there are things, well, I say this is one of the closest 3v3 battles I've ever been in. Make no mistake, this is going to go down to the wire. But just to give you a heads up, the cavalry advantage the other team has could prove pivotal here. Okay, so there's Arminius. Has got one unit left there, one man left in his unit there. That's all he's got in that one unit. Now, are the enemy going to leave that unit alone, or are they going to attack him? No wonder he's unhappy at taking casualties. He's the last man left in his unit. He's lost all his mates. There, maybe best to run him over and join, run that unit over and join with the rest of his allies there, possibly. But just to say, all of Fesen's units, I think he's got one man left there. I can see one Carthaginian flag there, and I think got one man left. So as you can see here, we're moving in now, and this, you know, we may well move into stage 2 of. Oh my gosh, they're attacking that last man in that unit, and they killed him. Oh my gosh, how heartless was that of Mars? That was that one guy we just looked at, the only survivor of his unit, and they just killed him. That was a bit tight, wasn't it? But anyway, so we're going to go into possibly phase 2 of the battle now. And this is where we've decided that we're going to kind of form up into a little bit of a defensive formation now. I'm not going to attack anymore at the moment because I think that would be foolish there. You can see some SBQR infantry there attacking some of my units there as I was moving over to join up with Arminius, but we managed to rout that unit there. So I think at this stage of the battle, attacking now is not something that we need to do, and we've decided that we're going to just form up into a bit of a defensive formation. Now, just to give you a heads up on that, this isn't going to be any elaborate defensive box here, you know. That's not what the intention is here. It's just we're going to form up together just to kind of form a bit of a tightish defensive formation there. Now you can see Arminius has got 4 units, very battle damaged units left. Okay, so that's all the units he's got left. I've got more units left than him, but my units are very battle depleted as well, and you can see a lot of my units were tired or winded because I've been fighting for a lot of time in this battle. So as I say, now you can see the enemy troops looking to surround us and come in from different angles there. And as I say, just to give you a heads up on this, the enemy cavalry advantage that we've been talking about a lot during the course of the battle could prove pivotal in this final stage of the battle. As I say, this isn't an elaborate, fantastic defensive box. It's just us forming up together, waiting for the enemy to attack. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you can see the enemy are gradually moving in on us there. You can see they got us completely surrounded there. But just to give you a heads up on this, I'm not prepared to just sit there defensively and get hit by enemy troops. If they get close to me, I'm going to attack them. Just to give you a heads up on that. Let's pause the game for a second here. So there's my units there. Now JGP here is going to probably attack. He's got a couple of units in Testudo, which is going to try and push into us there. But the moment he gets close, I'm going to attack. As I say, that's been my very simple tactic all the way through this battle, is just to attack the enemy troops. I'm not just going to stand there and let them smash into me, get all that charge bonus going into me without me doing anything about it. The moment he gets close, you'll see that I'm going to move my Spartans in to attack him. Okay, so whether that's a good tactic or whether it's not, please put your thoughts in the comments on that. But as they move forward into us there, you can either stand there and take that as they come into you, or you can attack them. And as you can see there, I'm moving my units, some of my units, into attacking those SPQR troops that are moving into us. Okay, so there you are. You can see my troops now attacking those SPQR troops, not just standing there and letting them attack me. I am now aggressively attacking them, as you can see. Okay, now whether that's a good move or not, as I say, please put your thoughts in the comments. Should I have just stood there and let them attack me, or is this a good move to counter-attack them just as they get close? Okay, so as I say, you can see my units there fighting those. Right, here comes a bang! There's that Julii cavalry and those archers smash in to the flank of my attacking Spartans there. Okay, You can see that there, really aggressive attack by Sultan, and I'm just waiting for JGP's cavalry to smash in, because I think the shock and all that charge bonus coming in, get ready, and bang! As he smashes into my engaged Spartans there. Look at the impact and penetration that that cavalry has just done. Here comes the Seleucid cataphracts, like a bang! And some more coming in from the other flank, like a bang, as they smash in there as well. JGP pulling his cavalry back to lock and load and charge it in again. There, oh my gosh, and he's still got his SPQR cavalry fighter. You can still see, can you still see I'm pushing my Spartans forward, still attacking those SPQR troops. Oh my gosh, I think that's my general just been taken out. There goes that cavalry, and again, like a bang, as it smashes in there. Okay, so, right, we have now lost our last general morale bonus. My general's been killed now, so we've got no morale bonus, general morale bonus at all for any of our troops. And you can see the SPQR cavalry starting to pierce our formation there. Okay, you can see that they look like they're going to smash through. I've got 2 men left in that unit, was it? Oh my gosh, 1 man left in that unit, 2 men left in that unit. So you can see how battle depleted my units are. Let's have a look at these other 2. What have I got in that one? Oh, 15 men, that seems a lot, doesn't it? And then, oh, 1 man in that unit. So I've got 1 man left in that unit. 1 man left in that unit there. Oh my gosh. But just to let you know that at the end of this battle, the units that you see here had got so many battlefield promotions that a lot of these units that I've got 3 stripes on. So I can't see them routing. I think they're going to fight right down to the last man there. I think there. As I say, my units have got so many battlefield promotions. A lot of them have got 3 stripes on, I noticed, towards the end of the battle. And can you see I'm still pushing forward into those enemy SPQR troops, even with the very depleted troops that I've got. Still trying to be aggressive. Here comes an archer unit coming in behind us like a bang as that charges in. But JGP's cavalry could still be the key to this battle, possibly there. Okay. So we'll say, oh, I've got 1 unit left now, and I think that 1 unit's got 1 man left in it. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second there. So there you are. How many men have I got left? Oh my gosh. So out of the entirety of my army, I've got 1 unit left with 1 man in it. Okay, so that's all I've got now. So Arminius here, he is going to be the guy that's going to be carrying on for us, because I've got a feeling my last man is going to be killed pretty soon there. You can see that enemy cavalry charging again like a bang. Some more archers coming in behind. Right, okay, so all my troops have now been killed. Okay, so it's all down to Arminius now. Every single one of my Spartans are dead. Can Arminius hold the fort here? Can he go on to win the battle here? I can see lots of enemy troops still there. You can see those SPQR infantry. And JGP's cavalry, remember, every time he charges in, he gets that cavalry charge bonus there, and it's like a shock as it hits our troops, like a bang as he smashes in. A Seleucid cavalry coming in behind as well, banged in there as well. Oh my gosh. As I say, this is going to go right down to the wire. This battle is. You can see Arminius there. Still, he's only down to 3 units now, look. He did have 4, he's down to 3 extremely battle damaged units fighting Seleucid and SPQR troops. Here comes a cavalry. Is that going to be the final charge? And bang! As it smashes in there. Oh my gosh. Arminius still holding. Still managing to hold there. Oh my gosh. Just look how close this is going to be. That's a Seleucid. The last of the Seleucid units have just been routed.
And now they flee.
Just that SPQR unit left. I think that's all the enemy troops that are left now, is that SPQR unit there. And you can see Arminius there moving in on that last unit there. Pause the game for a second. So there you are. JGP's got 1 man left there. And you can see the very, very battle depleted units of Arminius. Looks like they're just going to finish him off. So it looks like our team has managed to go on and win the battle. You can see how battle depleted Arminius is troops are there. And look how such a small battlefield there. You can see they're very intense. It's very small but very intense battlefield here. Just look at all the dead there. That was where that Julii cavalry smashed into the flank of my Spartans there. Can you see all that Julii cavalry dead? See a lot of cataphracts dead there as well. And you can see a lot of red cloak Spartans dead there also as we move across to this battlefield. You can see just the intensity. As I say, it's a very small battlefield here, but you can see the intensity of the fighting on the battlefield just by the massive piles of dead that are there. So well done to Arminius there, the last of our team to survive. So well done to him, and that last unit there, they've just taken him out. So well done to Arminius there. Extremely, as I say, that's one of the closest, and I say one of the best 3v3 battles I've ever been in, win or lose. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. I thought everybody played well. As you can see, it was a close victory. We don't get many close victories these days, so whenever we get a close victory, I always like to show that there. And the highest kills in the game goes to my Spartan army there. I'm 2 off of 2,400 kills there. So I'm very pleased with that. And if you notice, I've got the smallest army in the game. You notice that if you look up and down the armies, the smallest army in the game, I managed to get the highest kills. But that was the aggression and attack in there. And don't forget, as I say, I had experience stripe on most of my Spartans there. So well done to Mars, got some great kills there with his Seleucid army. That is some really good kills. Well done to JGP, great kills with his army as well. And well done to Sultan, highest kills in his team there with his army. So really well played, guys. Really close battle. And well done to Arminius. He might be a bit disappointed he got less than 1,000 kills, but did you see how he was looking after the rear of my troops, watching my back all the way through that battle? So well done to him. And well done to Fesen. He might be a bit disappointed he got less than 1,000 kills, but he did really well with his Carthage army as well. Very aggressive, very attacking. But just to show you how close the battle was, yes, I had the highest kills, look, but the enemy had the 2nd, 3rd and 4th highest kills in the game. That just goes to show you how close this battle was. 2nd, 3rd and 4th highest kills in the game there, as you can see. So as I say, that's just goes to show how close this battle was there. So really well done there to the other team. What about faction advantage? So we had Greek cities and Carthage. Okay, they had Seleucid, Rome. And don't forget, a massive 15 cavalry advantage over us as well. So do you reckon factions were about even in that case, or do you think we might have had faction advantage there? Just have a look at the statistics there. Now my army is at the top and Arminius' army is at the bottom. So if you have a look at my Spartans, remember I was aggressive and attacking all the way through. Look at the kills that my Spartans got there in comparison to the death that they suffered. You see the casualties that I suffered there, but look at the kills that they got. 251 there, look, for one unit. So you can see being aggressive with your Spartans there. Look at the kills that you can get. And you saw how aggressive I was all the way through the battle. My archer is pretty poor, although one of those cheap short-range archers, look, got 121 kills. Well, that's a bit of a surprise. And look at Arminius. If you look at, I'll just pull Arminius's, where you can see Arminius's kills there as well. Now he was more defensive than me. Did you notice he was more defensive, just covering the rear of my units as I was attacking, but he still got some quite good kills there. So well done to him. So there you are. That's the battle there. As I say, one of the closest I've been in there. I was very pleased with that very small Spartan army there, but I just wanted to show, you know, like if you compromise on gold shield, gold attack on your Spartans to free up some money to put experience stripes on your troops, that's the kind of kills that you can get. And you saw how they managed to carry on fighting even by being hit by heavy cavalry. Okay, Spartan Commander saying bye for now and see you soon.